So YouTube is working things on. I'm back before we get to it. Make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you always watch the full video. We got 15 weird facts. I'm not going through all 15. All right.
From a discovery made over pie at a restaurant to a climactic song that became a TikTok sensation decades later, the making of Set It Off is packed with surprising secrets. Did you know the script was rejected twice, theater violence erupted nationwide, or that one character's name mysteriously changes in the credits? These behind-the-scenes revelations prove this iconic heist film has more twists.
I ain't gonna lie, this is a great movie, but I can't watch it, bro. Seeing them get unalive like that, bro, just something. I think it probably made a uproar, whatever. Like I said when it came out, because you seen females get unalive, and nobody wants to see that.
Than its bank robbery plot. Fact 1. Waitress to movie star discovery. One of the most remarkable casting discoveries in 1990s, Hollywood happened not in an audition room or talent agency, but over coffee and pie at a regular restaurant. Kimberly Elise, who would go on to deliver one of the most heartbreaking performances in Set It Off as the shy single mother Tissian, was working as a waitress when producer Dale Pollock spotted her serving tables and knew immediately that he had found something special. At the time, Elise had no professional acting experience and was simply trying to make ends meet in the restaurant industry, much like the character she would eventually portray on screen. Producer Dale Pollock was having a meal when he noticed something compelling about the young woman taking his order. Whether it was her natural presence, her expressive face, or simply an indefinable quality that caught his attention, Pollock saw potential that others had missed. The discovery was so spontaneous and unlikely that it sounds almost too perfect for a movie about women fighting against economic hardship and limited opportunity. Here was a real person working in the service industry who would soon be cast to play a character struggling with similar circumstances, bringing an authenticity to the role that no amount of method acting could have achieved. Set It Off became Kimberly Elise's film debut, launching what would become a distinguished...
Oh God! If she started from that, that's crazy. Cause she is a great actor. If she started off from that, like a nigga was like, "Hey, you know what? You like what?" That's crazy. Cause bruh, she is a great actor.
career in Hollywood. Her portrayal of Tissian, the soft-spoken mother whose son gets taken away by Child Protective Services, remains one of the most emotionally resonant performances in the entire film. The vulnerability and desperation she brought to the character felt completely genuine, perhaps because her journey from waitress to movie star gave her a deep understanding of what it meant to fight for survival and opportunity. This chance encounter in a restaurant changed the trajectory of Elise's entire life, proving that sometimes the most important discoveries happen in the most ordinary places. The producer's instinct to approach a working waitress and offer her a major film role was both bold and prescient, as Elise would go on to appear in acclaimed films like
This is another movie you cannot pay me to watch. I would not watch this movie, bruh. Nothing in the world would make no. I'm good. Good. Again, she was a great actor, bro. And that was too real for me. This movie was just too real. I could not watch that shit.
beloved and work with directors like Tyler Perry throughout her career. Fact 2. Written for stars who didn't exist. In one of the most unusual casting decisions in Hollywood history, screenwriter Takashi Bufford wrote the entire Set It Off script with two specific actresses in mind for the lead roles, even though he had never met either of them and had no guarantee they would ever read his work. Bufford specifically crafted the characters of Stoney and Cleo with Jada Pinkett Smith and Queen Latifah in mind, writing dialogue and situations that he believed would perfectly showcase their unique talents and screen presence. This approach to screenwriting was highly unconventional in the 1990s, when most scripts were written as general stories that could be adapted for whatever actors eventually signed on to the project. Bufford took the opposite approach, essentially creating custom-tailored roles for two performers he admired from afar, but had no personal or professional connection to at the time he was developing the story. The fact that Bufford was writing for actresses he had never encountered made his approach even more remarkable. as he was basing his character development entirely on their public personas and previous work, rather than any knowledge of their actual personalities or acting preferences. He was essentially gambling that his instincts about what would work for these two performers were correct, and that somehow the script would eventually find its way to them. What makes this story even more extraordinary is that Bufford's vision ultimately came to pass exactly as he had imagined it. Both Jada Pinkett Smith and Queen Latifah not only read the script, but agreed to take on the roles that had been specifically written for them by a screenwriter they had never met. The chemistry and authenticity.
That's still like, it's somebody you never met. That's like for a music artist. Somebody writes a song. You know what? This song was, I wrote this song for you. You're still gonna listen to it because it was made for you. It wasn't like, hey, I got a song. It was made for somebody else, but I think you'll be good for it. You might listen to it, but a song that was specially made for you. Come on. What? Let me see. Let me check it out. All right, like what? And then they probably read the role like, whoa, this is crazy. I can do this shit.
That both actresses brought to their characters suggests that Bufford's intuitive understanding of their strengths as performers was remarkably accurate. This creative process speaks to the power of artistic vision and the sometimes mysterious ways that the right material finds its way to the right people. Bufford's decision to write for specific actresses he had never met turned out to be one of the key factors that made Set It Off such a compelling and authentic portrayal of friendship and desperation. Fact 3. Three-time rejection before success. The script for Set It Off had to endure a frustrating journey of repeated rejections before it ever made it to the big screen, with New Line Cinema turning down the project not once, not twice, but 3 separate times before finally recognizing its potential. This pattern of rejection was particularly surprising given that the final film would go on to become New Line Cinema's highest-grossing movie of 1996, earning over $41 million worldwide against a modest $9 million budget. Each time the studio passed on the script, the writers and producers had to regroup and find new ways to pitch the story, refining their approach and addressing whatever concerns the executives had raised during their previous meetings. The persistence required to keep bringing the same project back to the same studio after multiple rejections speaks to the deep belief that the creative team had in their story about 4 women turning to bank robbery as a way out of their desperate circumstances. What's particularly interesting about this rejection process is that when New Line Cinema finally did accept the script on the 4th attempt, they immediately recognized that it needed additional development work. The studio decided to expand the backstories of the 4 female leads, adding more depth and context to explain why each woman would be driven to such extreme measures. This collaborative approach between the studio and the writer.
No, they did that. They broke that down completely, bro. Again, still, I remember watching the movie, but I wouldn't go watch it. Like, if somebody was like, hey, let's go watch Set It Off. Hell no. The fuck, nigga? Put on, Speed or something like that. Put on some cartoons. I don't want to watch that.
Help transform what was already a compelling story into something with even more emotional resonance and character development. The studio's decision to enhance the motivations behind each character's journey into crime proved to be crucial to the film's ultimate success, as audiences connected deeply with the personal struggles that drove Stoney, Cleo, Frankie, and Tician to their breaking points. The irony is that New Line Cinema's initial hesitation about the project led them to demand exactly the kind of improvements that would make the final film so powerful and memorable. This back-and-forth process between rejection and refinement ultimately created a stronger, more nuanced story that resonated with both critics and audiences when it finally reached theaters. Fact 4. Twins playing one character. In an unusual casting decision that most viewers never notice, the character of Jejuan, who is Tician's young son in Set It Off, was actually played by real-life twins Vincent Baum and Van Baum, with both brothers receiving official screen credit for portraying the same single character. This twin casting approach is relatively rare in Hollywood and was likely used to work around child labor laws that strictly limit how many hours young actors can work on film sets. The use of twins to play one character is a common practice when working with very young children or infants, but it becomes more noticeable and challenging when the child actors are old enough to have distinct facial features and manner.
Yeah, sometimes I have noticed that too in a lot of movies. You like this. It's supposed to be the same baby, but you like, hell no, that's the same kid.
Mannerisms that audiences might pick up on. In the case of Set It Off, the Baum twins were skilled enough actors that most viewers watching the film have no idea they're seeing two different people playing Jajuan throughout various scenes. Child labor regulations in the film industry are particularly strict about limiting working hours, mandatory breaks, and educational requirements, which can make shooting schedules extremely complicated when a young actor has significant screen time. By casting twins in the role, the production team could essentially double their available filming time with the character, while still staying within legal guidelines for child actors. The fact that both Vincent Baum and Van Baum appear in the film's credits under the same character name is somewhat unusual, as many productions that use twin actors will only credit one name or use a combined credit. The decision to list both brothers individually suggests that the filmmakers wanted to acknowledge each child's contribution to bringing Jajuan to life on screen.
W production.
This behind-the-scenes detail adds an interesting layer to one of the film's most emotionally significant relationships, as Jajuan's bond with his mother Tician becomes a driving force behind her decision to participate in the bank robberies. The twins' seamless portrayal of this crucial character helped maintain the emotional authenticity of scenes that were central to the film's plot and Tician's character development. Fact 5. Ghostbusters Firehouse Connection. Movie fans watching Set It Off are actually seeing a piece of cinema history without realizing it, as Cleo's auto repair shop was filmed inside Fire Station number 23 in downtown Los Angeles, the exact same location that served as the interior headquarters for the Ghostbusters in both the original 1984 film and its 1989 sequel. This historic firehouse has become one of the most recognizable filming locations in Hollywood, appearing in more than 50 different productions over the years. Fire Station number 23 was built in 1910 and served as an active Los Angeles Fire Department station until it was decommissioned in 1966, after which it became a popular filming location due to its authentic architecture and spacious interior layout. When the Ghostbusters...
Ain't that the same place that they filmed the movie with Martin Lawrence? Some National Security. Ain't that the same place?
Production team was looking for a
in the movie Mask, I think.
Location that could serve as the team's headquarters. They chose this firehouse for its interior scenes, while using a different firehouse in New York City for the exterior shots that audiences see in the movie. The building's interior remained largely unchanged between the Ghostbusters films and Set It Off, which means that when Queen Latifah's character Cleo is working on cars and planning heists in her garage, she's standing in the same space where Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Harold Ramis, and Ernie Hudson filmed their iconic supernatural comedy scenes more than a decade earlier. The production designers for Set It Off transformed the space to look like a working auto shop, but the basic structure and layout that Ghostbusters fans would recognize remained intact. This connection creates an interesting link between two completely different genres and decades of filmmaking, with the same physical space serving as both a headquarters for paranormal investigators and a garage for bank robbers. The firehouse has also appeared in numerous other films and television shows, including The Mask, National Security, and...
Look! I just said both of them movies, bro. That's crazy, bro. I knew what I was talking about.
Police Academy 2, making it one of the most frequently used filming locations in Los Angeles. The building's caretaker since 1985 has been working to preserve and restore the historic structure, which is listed on the National Register of Historic Places. Fact 6.
I'm ending right there, y'all. Make sure y'all like and subscribe. Catch you, man.